From our previous video, we have learned how to write the equation of the ellipse given yung mga properties. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan natin kung paano natin mahanap yung properties ni ellipse given yung mga equation. Okay? Using this illustration, gagamitin mo yung nasa left side, yung figure na nasa left side, if the orientation of the ellipse is naka-horizontal position. Kumbaga, yung kanyang major axis ay naka-parallel to the x-axis or naka-horizontal position. Gagamitin mo naman yung nasa kanan kapag yung orientation ng ating ellipse ay parallel to the y-axis or yung major axis natin ay naka-vertical. Okay, so let's have an example how to find the properties of the ellipse. Given the equation x squared over 16 plus y squared over 4 equals to 1. So, kung titingnan natin yung equation at kung naalala nyo yung mga standard form na ginagamit natin kay ellipse, okay, unang-una mapapansin nyo sa equation natin, meron dong x minus h, so may h, merong y minus k, so meron kang hk, wherein si HK ay yung ating center. And then, sa equation din, makikita natin yung A squared and then yung B squared. So, ibig sabihin, ang mahanap natin dito ay yung center, yung value ni A at value ni B. So, yung ating pattern sa equation, ito po ay x minus h. Okay, and y minus k squared. Okay, wherein, paano ba nagkaroon ng x squared dyan or y squared dyan? Di ba galing po yan kay x minus 0? Yung isa naman ay y minus 0, wherein ang h natin ay 0, ang k natin ay 0. So, meaning, ang center po natin dito ay 0, 0. Or, nasa origin po ang ating center. Okay, next naman natin, kung naalala nyo pa po yung mga rules natin kay ellipse, kung sino ang may highest denominator, yun po yung ating a squared. So, ang highest natin dito ay si 16, therefore, siya po yung ating a squared. Okay, so a squared natin is equals to 16, and then ang b squared natin ay equal to 4. Therefore, pag kinuha po natin si a, so kunin lang po natin yung square root ni 16, so we have 4. And then, para makuha natin si b, kunin lang po natin square root nitong 4. So, meron tayong 2. Okay? And, para mahanap naman natin si c, meron po tayong formula na a squared equals to b squared plus c squared. So, derive lang po natin, we have c squared is equals to a squared minus b squared. So, ma-minus lang po natin si 16 at yung 4 para mahanap natin si c. So, 16 minus 4 is equals to 12. C squared pa po yan. Kailangan natin ay c lang. So, we have square root of 12. O kaya, magiging 2 square root of 3. So, ito na po yung ating c. Okay, so now that we have our center, A, B, and C, makuha na po natin yung mga properties na hinahanap. Remember, kapag gusto mong kuhanin yung coordinates ng vertices mo, ano po yung related na variable kay vertices, kung naalala nyo po. Diba siya yung ating variable A. Si foci naman, kung gusto mong kuhanin yung coordinates ng foci mo, siya naman, ang magagamit mo naman ay si C. Si Co Vertices naman, kung gusto mo siyang hanapin, ang magagamit naman natin dito ay si B. Okay? Next is, tandaan po natin na yung A and C natin ay lagi po nating nakikita yan sa ating major axis. Okay? At yung ating B na Co Vertices, ito naman po ay nakikita natin palagi sa minor axis. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, para makuha natin yung ating vertices, okay, kukunin po natin ngayon yung x-coordinate, okay, ng ating center. Once again, para makuha natin si vertices, kukuhanin po natin yung x-coordinate ng center, which is si h, wherein ang h natin ay si 0. Sa kanya ka ngayon magpa-plus at minus ng a. Okay, bakit si x hindi si y ang kinuha ko? Kasi di ba po, yung ating a squared ay nasan po ba? Nasa ilalim ni x. Therefore, kunin mo yung x-coordinate ng ating center. So, we have 0 plus at minus ka naman yung value ng a mo, which is 4. So, we have, kakaroon ka ngayon ng 4, 0, and negative 4, 0. So, copy lang po natin yung sa may y-coordinate ni center, yung ating h. Okay? So, next naman natin, para makuha natin si foci, kukunin din po natin yung x-coordinate niya, nung center. Okay? Once again, para makuha natin si foci, kunin ulit natin yung x-coordinate ng ating center, which is h. Sa kanya ka naman ngayon, magpa-plus at minus ng c. Okay? So, therefore, ang magiging foci natin ay we have square root of 12 or pwede rin pong 2 square root of 3. So, kahit alin po dyan pwede. So, let's use the 2 square root of 3, 0, and negative 2 square root of 3, 0. So, ito po ang ating coordinates for the foci. And paano naman makuha natin si Co Vertices? Di ba po si Co Vertices makikita natin kay minor? Di ba po ang major and minor natin laging magka-perpendicular? So kung ang ating major is along x, ngayon naman ang ating minor is along y. Okay, so po ba nakailalim yung ating 4 dito? Di ba po yung 4 yung b squared? Saan po ba siya nakailalim? Kay y. So, ibig sabihin, kukunin naman natin yung y-coordinate ng ating center at saka naman tayo magpa-plus at minus ng corresponding variable for the co-vertices, which is b. Okay? So, we have 0 din po and then plus minus b. Okay? So, meron tayong 0, 2, and 0, negative 2. So, meron na tayong vertices, may foci, at may co-vertices na tayo. Okay? So, for the length ng ating major and minor, ito po ay meron naman po tayong formula dyan. So, kung naalala nyo po, pag sinabi nating length of the major axis, may formula po tayo na 2a. And length for the minor axis, meron po tayong formula na 2b. So, we have 2a. So, we have 2 times the value of a, which is 4. So, ang length po ng ating major axis ay 8. Okay? And para naman sa length ng minor axis natin, we have 2 times the value of b, which is 2. So, we have 4 units. So, yan po ang ating length of the major and minor axis. So, para malaman naman natin ang equation or location ng major axis natin, so, tingnan po natin yung equation. Yung a squared po ay nasa ilalim ng x. Therefore, ito ay along x-axis. Bakit siya along x-axis? Hindi siya parallel. Okay, along x-axis po siya kasi asan po ba ang center natin? Di ba po ay nasa origin. Okay? Kung nasa origin po, syempre, hindi lang siya basta parallel to the x, but along x-axis siya mismo. Kumbaga, coincidental line sila. Nung x-axis at nung major axis. Okay? Kaya siya along x-axis. So, kung hanapin naman natin yung equation ng major, di ba sinabi ko last time kay parabola, kung naalala nyo po, kapag ang itsura ng graph natin ay naka-horizontal line, horizontal, di ba yan po ay y equals to something. Kapag naman po ay naka-vertical, ibig sabihin, x equals to something. Okay? So, depende po kung saang nakatapat na number. So, magiging equation natin for the major axis, is we have y equals to 0. Okay, bakit siya y equals to 0? Kasi nandito po ang ating major. Nasa x-axis. Kumbaga, ito po yung y-axis natin, di ba? Saan po ba siya nakatapat? Nasa 0 ng y-axis. Kaya siya y equals to 0. Okay? So, next natin ay equation of the minor axis. So, kung ang ating major axis is along x-axis, therefore si minor is along the y-axis. Okay? So, ang magiging equation po nito ay x equals to 0. Okay? So, ito po yung minor, MA minor, x equals to 0. And yun, then, naka-blue po yung ating major axis. So, I name it na lang na PA, principal axis. Okay, para hindi po malito sa MA. So, PA natin means principal axis. Y equals to 0. Okay? So, for the general equation, ang gagawin lang po natin ay tingnan po natin yung denominator. Kung may common factor po siya, i-multiply na lang natin by the LCD. So, we have x squared over 16 plus y squared over 4 equals to 1. Okay, multiply lang po natin sa kanilang LCD. LCD ng ating 4 and 16. Else, kunin nyo lang po yung LCM ni 4 at ni 16. So, we have 4, 8, 12, 16. And then si 16 ay may multiples na 16. And then we have 16 plus 16, 32, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so kunin nyo lang po yung pinaka least common, which is yung 16 po. Okay, so ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin natin dito LCD ay 16. Okay? So, ang ating rule po ay LCD divided by the denominator and then times the numerator. Okay, so magkakaroon tayo dito ngayon ng 16 divided by 16 is equals to 1. 1 times x squared means x squared na lang. Okay, and then copy operation plus 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 times the y squared is 4y squared. And then equals to 16. And then, lipat po natin sa kabila si 16. So, we have x squared plus 4y squared minus 16 equals to 0. So, ito na po yung ating general equation. Okay? So, kunwari, kung gusto naman natin kuhanin yung mga graph, o kung paano natin siya, or paano natin makuha yung mga properties using the graph, pwede rin naman po. Okay, paano ang gagawin natin dyan? So, we all know that the center is 0, 0. And then, yung ating a squared ay nasa ilalim na x. Therefore, dyan mo po ipa-plot yung ating vertices at yung foci. Okay, tandaan po natin sa major axis, ang magkasama ay si foci at si vertices natin. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang a squared mo ay 16. Para makuha mo ang a, square root mo lang po yung 16. So, you have 4. So, bibilang ka po ng 4 units sa kanan. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ito po yung coordinates ng ating vertices. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, nandito pa po yung isa nating vertex. Okay, so, kung titignan mo, that is 4, 0 and negative 4, 0. Okay? Next is, para makuha natin yung ating foci, sinosolve po siya. Kasi missing pa po yung c natin. So, meron po tayong 2 square root of 3 or square root of 12. So, pag ganyan, kung ipa-plot lang naman po natin siya, pwede na po natin siyang i-change into decimal. So, we have around or approximately equal to 3.46. Okay, so para ma-plot po natin siya, bilang tayo ng 3.46 from the center. 1, 2, 3. So, 3.46. Ito si focus. And here. Okay? And for the co vertices, since ang ating co vertices o yung variable na related kay co vertices ay si b, Si b squared natin ay si 4, nasa ilalim ni y. So, sa y-axis tayo magbibilang ng 2 units. Yun po kasi yung value ng b natin. So, we have 1, 2. So, nandito po yung ating isang co-vertex. And 1, 2. So, nandito po yung isa pa nating co-vertex. Okay? So, yan po yung graph ng ating equation. Okay? Ulitin natin. Para makuha mo po yung coordinates ng vertices, ang gagamitin mong variable ay si A. Para makuha mo yung coordinates ng foci, ang kakailanganin mong variable ay si C. And then, vertex and foci po ay laging naka-major. And then, ang co-vertices naman ay yung B natin. Okay, si B is mula sa center up to the co-vertices. At ito ay makikita natin kay minor axis. Okay, so i-connect lang po natin yung vertex hanggang kay co-vertex. At here. Ayan. Okay, so ito na po yung itsura ng graph natin. Okay? So, usually, meron pa po tayong kinukuha na LR. Kung naalala niyo po si LR. Meron tayong LR length. So, paano naman natin kinukuha si LR length? Meron po tayong formula na 2b squared over a. Okay, so we have 2 times the b squared. B squared is 4 divided by the value of our a. Ano po bang a natin? Which is 4. So, ibig sabihin ng LR length natin ay 2. Meaning po, si LR o yung latus rectum natin, ang nadaanan po niyan ay si foci or si focus. So, nandito po at nandito po siya around here. Ayan, yung naka-color blue po na graph. Okay? So, kung gusto natin kuhanin yung mga coordinates, di ba, meron po tayong tinatawag na coordinates ng ating LR length or endpoints of the LR. So, paano naman natin siya kukuhanin? Di ba, mula sa focus up to hanggang dito po, dyan natin makuha yung ating endpoint. So, kalahati po siya ng LR length. So, kunin natin yung half ni LR half, o kaya ang pwede mo pong formula ay b squared over a. Yan po yung half ni LR. So, we have, o kaya kung na-solve mo na yung LR, divide mo lang po yung LR length sa 2. So, which is equal to 1. Okay, so para makuha natin yung endpoints of LR, meron po tayong 4. Okay, 4 po siya. Okay, so since nasa origin naman tayo, ibig sabihin, tagi-isang quadrant po ang endpoint since ang ating origin ay yung center natin. Okay, para makuha natin yung mga endpoints ni LR, kunin po natin yung foci. So, yung foci po natin ay may coordinates na 2 square root of 3, 0, and negative 2 square root of 3, 0. Okay, so kukunin mo po yung 2 square root of 3 natin, yung positive 2 square root of 3, 2 square root of 3, dalawang positive ang ilalagay mo dyan, at dalawang negative. Okay? So, negative 2 square root of 3. Ganitong nyo gagawin kapag ang ating center ay nasa origin. Okay? Next, ano naman ang ilalagay natin dito sa ating, dito sa ating y. Okay? Kung ano po yung half ng LR. So, di ba po ang half natin ay 1? So, 1, negative 1, positive 1, negative 1. Okay? So, yan na po yung ating endpoints of the LR. Kung titingnan mo man po dito kung sakto ba siya, so ito ba, di ba po ito po yung value ng x natin? Asan po ba itong x natin? Di ba po yan yung 2 square root of 3? Ito po yung 1. Okay? Ayan. And then, ito yung 1. Ito yung negative 1. And then, ito yung negative 1. Okay? So, yan po yung mga endpoints ni LR natin. Okay? So, let's have another example. Example number 2. Okay? So, we have 100x squared plus 36y squared equals to 3,600. So, first is, hindi pa po naka-standard yung ating equation. So, change muna natin siya into standard equation. Okay, para ma-change natin to into standard equation, dapat po ay tayo naka-equal kay 1. Okay? Para ma-equal natin kay 1, i-divide lang po natin to kay 3,600. Para mag-equal po sa 1 yung constant natin. Okay? So, 3,6 divided by 3,6 ay equal na po to kay 1. Okay? And then, simplify lang po natin to ilo-lowest term. So, yung 100 divide sa 3,6 or gawin nyo po ay 3,6 divide nyo lang po sa 100. Yung sagot, dun nyo ilalagay sa mas mataas. Okay, so ito ay 1 na lang. Ito ay magiging 36. Ito naman, magiging 1 na lang. Ito naman po ay magiging 100. Okay? Lowest term. So, final answer will be x squared over 36 plus y squared over 100 equals to 1. Okay? So, ito na po yung ating standard equation. Okay? Kung ito na po yung standard equation natin, makikita na natin dito ang ating center. So, ang center po natin, we have x minus 0 yan and y minus 0 squared. Okay? So, ang center po natin ulit ay nasa origin. Okay? Next is, para mahanap natin yung A, B, and C, tingnan po natin yung denominator, kung sino po yung mas mataas, yan po yung A squared natin. Since 100 ang mas mataas, yan po ang ating A squared. And then, ang B squared po natin ay equal to 36. Okay, so next naman po natin is to get our A. So, kunin lang po natin square root ng 100, which is equals to 10. Square root ng 36 is equals to 6. Okay? And para makuha natin si C, so we have C squared is equals to 100 minus 36, which is equals to 64. Kunin lang natin square root ng 64 para makuha natin yung value ng C. So we have 8. Okay, so meron na tayong value ni A, B, and C. Once again, we use A to get the coordinates of the vertices. We use B to get the coordinates of the co vertices. We use C to get the coordinates of our focus or foci. And then remember, A and C ay matatagpuan natin kay major axis. And yung ating B or yung co vertices ay makikita naman natin kay minor axis. Okay? So, tandaan nyo rin po kapag sinabi natin co vertices, it can also mean endpoints of the major axis. Pwede rin po siyang matawag as the endpoints of the major or coordinates or endpoints of the major axis. Si co-vertices naman, pwede rin po natin itong matawag as the endpoints or coordinates ng ating minor axis. So, kung mare, tinanong sa inyo what is the endpoints of the major axis, it pertains to the vertices. What is the coordinates of the minor axis? It pertains to the co-vertices. Okay? So, hanapin natin ngayon ang ating vertices. So, paano natin mahanap si vertices? Tingnan mo po yung equation. Saan po ba ang A squared mo? Iba po nasa ilalim ni Y. So, kunin po natin yung Y coordinate ng center. Kunin natin yung Y coordinate ni center, which is si K. Wherein ang K natin ay si 0, saka ka ngayon mag-plus or minus ng A. So, we have, copy natin yung X, and then 0 plus 10, and then 0 minus 10. So, negative 10. Okay, next is for the foci. Si foci ay ganun din po. We get the Y coordinate ng ating center, which is K. So, we have 0 plus or minus C naman. So, copy lang natin ulit ang X. So, ang C natin ay 8. So, 0 plus 8 and 0, 0 plus negative 8. Okay. Next is for the co-vertices. So, si co-vertices, ang corresponding letter sa kanya, variable ay si B. So, saan po ba yung B natin sa equation? Nasa ilalim ni X. So, kunin natin yung X coordinate ng center, which is H. Sa kanya ka ngayon mag-plus or minus ng B. Okay, so we have, kunin natin yung X coordinate, which is 0. 0 plus 6. And then copy yung Y. And then 0 minus 6, which is negative 6. Copy yung Y. Okay, so yan na po yung mga coordinates ng ating vertices, foci, and co vertices. Kunin naman natin yung length ng major axis natin. So, ang length ng ating major axis means 2a. So, we have 2 times the value of a, which is 10. So, we have 20 units. Okay? And for the equation or location of the major, makukuha na po natin ang equation and location. So, tingnan mo lang po yung equation. Nasaan po bang ilalim yan? Na kay y. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng along y-axis. Hindi lang siya basta parallel to y, but nandito mismo kay y-axis. Kasi ang center po natin ay nasa 0. For example, ang center mo ay nandito, okay? And then, yung itsura ng major axis mo ay let's say, naka-vertical. Okay, so ibig sabihin, nandito po yung iyong major axis. Pang ilan po ba yan? Diba, pang 2 siya ng x. So, ibig sabihin, ang equation niya ay x equals to 2. Okay? Kapag lang ang ating center ay wala sa origin. Okay? So, next natin is equation. Yung equation po ng ating major axis will be x equals to 0. Okay? Next naman natin kuhanin is the length of the minor, which is 2b. So, we have 2 times the value of b, which is 6. We have 12 units. Okay? So, para makuha natin ang equation or location ng ating minor, that is y equals to 0 or along x-axis. Okay? So, bakit siya along x-axis? Kasi po yung ating b, okay, ay nasa ilalim ni x. Okay? So, lagi po silang magka-perpendicular. Okay? Ang ating major and minor axis. Try naman nating hanapin yung mga properties nitong equation na to using graph. So, center natin is 0, 0, obviously. Kapag nakakita po kayo ng pattern na x squared lang tapos y squared, ibig sabihin po niyan, ang origin ay 0, 0. Okay? So, next natin is, tingnan nyo po kung sino yung mas mataas sa denominator. So, kung sino yung mas mataas, yung po yung a squared natin. And then, get the square root of it so that you can have the value of your a. Okay, si a po natin ang magbibigay sa inyo ng coordinates ng vertices mo. Okay, so paano mo malalaman kung up, down, left, or right ba ang pagbilang? Since ang 100 po ay nasa ilalim ni y, so along y po ang ating bilang. Up or down. Okay, since nasa 0, 0 naman po tayo, ibig sabihin along y-axis lang ang bilang natin. So, for example, kung nandito po yung center, ibig sabihin, up ka po. And then, down. Okay, ganun lang po yung ibig sabihin. Okay, so ibig sabihin, bibilang po tayo dito ng 10 units up, 10 units down. So, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, ito na po yung pang 10. So, nandito po yung coordinates ng ating vertex. And then, 10 units down, para makuha po natin yung isa pa nating coordinates ng ating vertex. Okay? Next naman natin, siyempre, yung ating b squared sa equation is 36. So, square root po ng 36 is 6. So, bibilang ka naman ng 6 units, okay, along x-axis naman. Kasi nasa ilalim po siya ng ating x. So, bilang kayo ng 6 units. 1, 2, 3. Ay, naka 2, 4, 6 po tayo. So, nandito po yung ating co-vertex. And here. So, tingnan natin kung tama yung mga naging sagot natin. So, sa vertex, dapat 0, 10. Correct. And then, for the co-vertex, 6, 0. Okay, tama rin. Now, para makuha natin si C, syempre isosolve nyo po yan. So, 100 minus 36 is equals to 64. Kunan mo yung square root ng 64, which is 8. So, bibilang ka naman ng 8 units, okay, para makuha mo yung coordinates ni foci. And remember, si foci ay matatagpuan natin kay major. So, kung ang vertex mo ay nakay along y, nandun din po ang foci natin. So, we have here, ito yung focus. And nandito na po yung isa pa nating focus. Okay? So, next is, ayan, nag-graph na natin siya. And then, our major and minor axis. So, yung naka-blue po yung ating principal axis, which has an equation of x equal to 0. And then, yung naka-green po yung ating minor axis, which has an equation of y equals to 0. Okay? And then, kung gusto po natin kuhanin yung LR, yung endpoints of the LR, pwede rin naman para makita po natin, okay, yung pagka-curve ng ating ellipse. So, kunin na lang natin, singit natin siya. We have the LR length. We have 2b squared over a. So, we have 2 times the b squared is 36. And then, divide lang po natin by a, which is 10. So, this is equal to, pwede na po natin siyang gawing fraction or pwede pong naka-decimal. So, 2 times 3, 36 is 72. 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. So, 7.2 yung length niya. Okay? And then, syempre, kunin po natin yung LR half. So, that is b squared over a. Okay? Nga pala, bakit siya b squared over a? Kasi po, di ba, 2b squared over a, ito po yung LR length. So, kung kunin natin yung half, syempre, i-divide po natin by 2, di ba? So, di ba ang rule natin, pag fraction, ginagawa tong times at kinukuha yung reciprocal ng 2. So, magiging 1 half. So, kung titingnan nyo, yung 2 po ay makaka-cancel lang din. Kaya tayo nagkaroon ng b squared over a na lang. Okay, kaya to b squared over a for the LR half. Okay, so we have b squared natin is 36 and then divide natin by 10. So we have 3.6. Okay? Okay, pwede nyo pong i-fraction yan, yung 36 over 10. Pwede pong naka-fraction. Wala pong problema. 18 over 5. Okay? Lagay lang natin 18 over 5 or 3.6. Okay, 3.6 kung i-graph mo na siya. Okay, kung endpoints naman, pwede na natin gamitin yung 18 over 5. Or pwede rin pong 3.6. Depende na lang po sa magiging choices kung sa quiz nyo or sa exam. Okay, so next natin dito ay kunin natin yung endpoints ng LR para kompleto na. Endpoints of LR. So once again, 4 po palagi yan. Okay? Since ang center naman natin ay nasa origin, tag-iisa po sila bawat quadrant. Okay, pero hindi po palagi yun. Hindi po palaging tag-iisa sa bawat quadrant. Depende po sa location ng ating center yun. Okay? So, kunin po natin yung foci. Foci natin is 0, 8 and 0, negative 8. So, yung 8, yung may value, yung kunin po natin. Sulat natin dyan. Negative 8, negative 8. And then, kunin natin yung LR half, which is 18 over 5 or 3.6. So, we have 3.6, negative 3.6. Okay, and then positive 3.6 and negative 3.6. Okay? So, in any order naman po yan. Okay, so kung i-graph natin siya, since ito po yung foci, okay, and then 3.6 daw. So, we have, ito po ay 2, ito yung 4. Naka 2, 4, 6, 8 po tayo dito ha. So, 3.6 siguro nasa gitna ng between 2 and 3 po siya. So, let's say, ito po yung LR natin. Naka-color violet na point. 3.6. So, malapit na po siya kay 4. So, let's say, ito po yan. And then, ito yung 4. So, ito po siya. And then, here. And here. So, yan po yung mga LR natin. Okay? So, para ma-plot natin yung graph, ang i-connect naman po natin yung vertex up to the LR points. Ayan. So, parang using the LR, endpoints of LR, okay, makikita mo yung pagka-oval nung ating ellipse. Okay, so as you can see, this is our graph. Okay? So, let's have another example. Find the properties of the ellipse with a given graph. Given po yung graph, hanapin daw po natin yung ating mga properties. So, in this case, obviously, makikita po natin yung ating center, which is nasa origin. Okay? 0, 0. Okay? And of course, yung ating graph ay naka-horizontal position. Kumbaga, yung orientation ng ellipse natin ay naka-horizontal. Elongated siya in horizontal position. So, therefore, ang location ng ating major axis ay along x-axis. Okay? Along x-axis. So, kung along x-axis ang ating major axis, ibig sabihin, yung ating vertices and foci ay nasa x-axis. Okay? So, tingnan natin. Ito po yung magiging vertices natin. So, that is equal to 5, 0 and negative 5, 0. Okay? So, kung nakuha na natin si vertices, ibig sabihin, makuha po natin yung variable na A. Kasi mula sa center up to the vertex, di ba po yun yung ating letter A. Okay? So, we have 5 units. So, ang A natin is 5. And then, if we get the A squared, the answer is 25. Okay? Next is, so, meron na po tayong vertices. And then, makita din natin yung co vertices natin. So, yung minor axis natin ay along y-axis naman. Okay? So, ilan po bang units yan? 1, 2, 3. So, ibig sabihin, yung b natin ay 3. So, kapag kinuha mo yung b squared, that is 9. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung ang ating minor is along y, yung co-vertices natin ay nasa y-axis. So, ito po yung ating co-vertices, and this is our another co-vertices. And that is 0, 3 and 0, negative 3. Okay? So, next is, ano pa pong pwede nating mahanap? Yung length ng minor. So, meron tayong b. So, we have 2 times the value of b, which is 3. Which 6 units. Okay, and then yung equation pala po natin is x equals to 0. Okay, and for the equation of the major, yaan ay y equals to 0. And for the length of the major, we have 2a. So, you have 2 times the value of a, which is 5. So, we have 10 units. Pwede naman natin siya i-confirm. Bilangin nyo lang po vertex to vertex. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. And for the minor, co-vertex to co-vertex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 units. Okay? And ang natitira na lang natin ay yung letter C natin and then si foci. Para makuha natin yan, isosolve po natin siya. So, we have C squared is equals to 25 minus 9, which is equals to 16. Get the square root of 16 para makuha natin yung ating C. Okay, ibig sabihin, from the center up to the up to 4 units away from the center, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Makuha natin dito si focus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Andito ulit ang ating focus. So, sa y-axis ko siya ginraph kasi po kasama na ni focus si vertex sa major axis. So, ang magiging coordinates ng focus natin ay 4, 0 and negative 4, 0. Okay? So, once again, si foci, ang variable na related sa kanya ay si C. And then, si vertices ay si A. Si co-vertices ay yung ating B. Okay? Na kung saan si B ay makikita natin kay minor. And yung ating A and C, makikita natin kay major. Okay? So, what's next? Kulang pa po tayo ng standard and general equation. Okay. Di ba kapag naghahanap tayo ng equation, titingnan po natin yung orientation ni major. So, since this is along x-axis, dapat po yung ating x squared or yung ating a squared ay nasa ilalim ni x. Okay, so meron tayo ditong x squared over a squared. Ano po bang a squared natin? 25 plus y squared over b squared. So we have 9. So ito po yung ating standard equation. Once again, bakit naging ganito ang ating standard? Kasi po ang ating a ay makita natin along the x-axis. Or yung major axis natin is along x-axis. Therefore, yung a squared dapat natin ay nasa ilalim ni x squared. Okay, bakit siya x squared na lang and y squared na lang? Kasi nga po, ang center natin ay 0, 0. Kumbaga, kung ang pattern mo is x minus h, yaan ay x minus 0 and then squared, which is equals to x squared. Kaya x squared na lang po yung nasa numerator. Ganon din po kay y squared. Okay, so ito na po yung ating standard equation. So, para makuha naman natin si general equation, tingnan natin yung equation. Yung 25 and 9 po ba, may common factor pa po ba yan? Except kay 1. Kung meron, okay, so, i-multiply natin yung LCD. Kung wala na, pwede tayong mag-cross multiplication. Since 25 and 9 ay wala pong common factor, multiply na lang natin, ay i-cross multiply. Ito po yung first, ito yung second, ito yung third. Okay? So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng 9 times x squared. So, we have 9x squared. Copy operation plus 25 times y squared is 25y squared equals to, yung equals yung po yung third na i-multiply natin, which is the 25 times 9. 225. Okay? And then, lipat lang po natin sa kabila yung ating 225. Minus 225 equals to 0. So, ito na po yung ating general equation. Okay? So, ano pang kulang? Okay? So, kunin na lang po natin yung ating LR length. So, para naman sa LR natin, LR length. So, ang LR natin is 2b squared over a. So, we have 2. Ang b squared natin ay 9. And then, ang a natin ay 5. So, meron tayong 18 divided by 5. So, yan po yung 3.6 kanina. Okay, 3.6. Okay? And then, kunin po natin yung LR half. That is b squared over a. O kaya, meron po kayong 9 over 5. So, 9 divided natin sa 5. So, we have 1.8. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin sa graph, tingnan po natin kung saktong 1.8. Okay, kunwari, ito po yung focus, di ba dyan po dadaan yung ating LR. So, yan po ba ay 1.8 yung taas? Di ba 1 and then 0.8. Di ba po? Tama naman. Okay, malapit na siya dun sa 2. Ito yon. Okay. So, kung gusto mong kuhanin yung endpoints, okay, kunin po ulit natin si foci. Kunin natin yung endpoints of LR. Kunin po natin yung foci. Ito yung foci natin, 4, 0. So, we have 4, positive 4, and negative 4, negative 4. Okay, and then kunin natin yung LR half. Dun naman ay 1.8. Okay, 1.8, 1.8. And then, negative 1.8 and negative 1.8. So, ito po yung ating endpoints of LR. Okay? So, next example. Okay, find the properties of the ellipse with the given graph. So, given po ulit ang graph. So, kung mapapansin natin dito, ang orientation ng ating major axis o yung orientation ng ellipse natin ay naka-vertical. Naka-vertical position po yung pagka-elongated niya. Okay, so ibig sabihin, ang major axis natin is along y-axis. Okay, or we have x equals to 0. So, kung along y-axis ang ating major, so ang center po natin ay nasa origin pa rin po. Okay, visible naman po dito sa ating graph. Okay, so kung ang orientation natin is along y, so para makuha natin yung coordinates ng vertices, bilangin lang po natin para na rin makuha natin yung A natin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, we have 6 units up and down. So, yan po yung ating A, 6. So, ang A squared natin ay 36. Okay, and then for the vertices, ano pong vertices natin dito? We got, okay, we have 0, 6, and 0, negative 6. Okay? And for the co vertices, makukuha po natin si co vertices. Ito po siya. So, yan din po yung ating minor axis. Okay, ibig sabihin, ang orientation po ng minor natin ay along x-axis. We have y equals to 0. Okay, so ang ating co-vertex will be 4, 0 and negative 4, 0. Okay? So, ang B natin, bilang lang po natin, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have 4. Para makuha natin si B squared, so 4 squared is equals to 16. Okay? Ano pa pong kulang? Okay, yung length ng minor natin, we have 2B. So, we have 2 times 4. So, we have 8 units. Okay? Pwede mo pong bilangin or kahit hindi mo siya isolve, bilangin mo lang. Co-vertex to co-vertex po siya. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, we have 8 units. Okay? Ito po yung minor axis natin. So, we have y equals to 0. Okay, next is yung length of the major axis natin will be 2a. So, bilangin lang din natin from the vertex 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, vertex to vertex po para malaman natin yung length ng ating major axis. So, 2 times 6, we have 12. Okay, and for our, okay, para sa ating C, kunin lang po natin si C. Solve natin si C. C squared equals to 36 minus 16, which is equals to 20. Square root ng 20 or magiging 2 square root of 5. Kasi po ang 20 ay may factor na 4 times 5. So, ano ba ang square root ng 4? Okay, we have 2. And then may square root pa po ba ang 5? So, wala na. Kaya, 2 square root of 5 na po siya. Okay, so para makuha natin yung ating foci, ang gagawin naman natin ay kasamahan niya sa axis ang vertex. So, ibig sabihin, nasa y pa rin po ang ating foci. So, we have 0, 2 square root of 5, and 0, negative 2 square root of 5. Okay? Kung gusto mo naman siya i-graph, okay lang po. Kunin natin yung decimal points. 2 decimal points lang ng ating value C. So, that is around 4, approximately equals to 4.47. So, bibilang lang po tayo ng 4.47 away from the center. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4.47 and 1, 2, 3, 4.47. Okay, so ito po yung ating focus. Okay, next is the equation, general and standard equation. So, for the standard, okay, ano po bang magiging pattern natin dito? Nasaan po bang magiging a squared natin? Sa ilalim ba siya ng x or sa ilalim ng y? So, tingnan mo po yung location ng measure natin. Nasa ilalim po siya ng y. Therefore, yung x squared natin, ang nasa ilalim niya ay si b squared, si 16. And then, yung y squared ay nasa ilalim niya ay yung ating a squared, which is 36. And then, equals to 1. So, ito na po yung standard equation. And then, para makuha natin yung ating general equation, multiply na lang po natin to by the LCT. Okay, kasi meron pong common factor yung 16 and 36, di ba? Kaya kunin na lang po natin dito yung LCD ni 16 at ni 36. So, ang LCD po ng 16 and 36 is 144. 144. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, 144, i-divide po natin kay 16. So, we have 9. 9 times x squared, so we have 9x squared. Copy operation plus 144 divided by 36. Once again, ang pattern po natin LCD divided by the denominator and then times the numerator. So, we have 144 divided by 36 is equals to 4. And 4 times the numerator, nagiging 4y squared. Okay? And then, 1 times 144 is equals to 144. And then, lipat lang po natin sa kabila yung ating 144. And then, equals to 0. So, ito na po yung ating general equation. Okay? Ito yung general equation. Ito namang naka-block yung ating standard. Okay? Okay, next natin is, kuhanin na lang din po natin yung LR length para alam nyo rin kung paano po kumuha ng LR. Okay? So, LR length. We have 2b squared over a. So, you have 2 times the b squared, which is 16, over a, which is 6. Okay, so, isolve lang natin yan. Pwede nyo pong i-calculate or pwede nating i-manual. So, that is equal to 16 over 3 na lang pag nilowest term. Okay? Kung decimal naman po, ito ay equal naman siya kay 5.33. So, dito ko na lang ilagay. 5.33. Yung 5.33 po, kay LR po yan. Yung LR. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kunin natin yung half niyan. LR half. So, we have b squared over a. So, 16 divided by 6. Or kalahati po nung 5.33. O kaya, kung naka-fraction man, so 16 divided by 6. I-lowest term lang po natin siya. So, we have 8 over 3. Hindi na kasya. Ito na lang po sa baba. So, we have 8 over 3 or kung naka-decimal, we have 2.67. Okay? 2.67 po yan. Okay? So, para makuha natin yung mga endpoints ni LR, dito na lang sa baba. Endpoints of LR. Once again, 4 po ulit ito. Kunin natin yung coordinates ng foci mo. So, i-blanko natin yung may 0. So, 2 square root of 5. And then, 2 square root of 5. Negative 2 square root of 5. Negative 2 square root of 5. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito po yung focus. Ayan. So, nandito po yung x na. Ano po ba yan? So, nasa pagitan siya ng 2 and 3. So, that is 2.67. Okay, o pwede pong ilagay nyo 8 over 3, 8 over 3, negative 8 over 3, negative 8 over 3. Pwede rin po yan. Okay? 8 over 3 means 2.67. So, tama naman po. 2.67. Okay, negative 2.67. So, verify natin kung tama ba yung nakuha nating LR points. So, dito naman sa kabila, ito yan. Okay, so negative 2.67 or negative 8 over 3, comma. Asan po ba siya nakatapat? Dito po yan sa between 4 and 5. Ano po ba yan? Di ba yan po yung 2 square root of 5 or yung 4.47? Okay? So, yan po yung mga LR natin. LR, LR, and of course, dito po, and here. Okay, so yan po yung apat nating LR. Okay? So, that's how we get the properties of the ellipse given ang equation and yung ating graph. Okay, so thank you everyone, and I hope you learned something from our discussion about ellipse.